Hey there everyone. I've been getting a lot of questions, and I mean a lot, on that Unown video that was recently uploaded. Which, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, there's going to be a link to that in the top right of the video and in the description below. Would be really cool if you check that out. Anyway, I've been getting a lot of questions, and I figured instead of replying to each of these comments, it would probably just be more convenient to make a kind of follow-up video going over some of the frequently asked questions. This way, it's all in a convenient location for future visitors too. So, let's get started with answering these questions. First up, what was up with that scene at the start of the video? So, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, if you go to Royal Avenue and look for this well towards the bottom right of the map, you can kinda just interact with it, and it seemingly does nothing unless you have a protein in your bag. If you have a protein in your bag, your character will clumsily drop it into the well, and it'll just hit this old dude that's in there. The guy asks if the protein is yours. If you answer correctly, you get the protein back plus an iron. If you lie and say that the protein wasn't yours, well, yeah, this happens. You do get your protein back after this, but you don't get the iron, meaning that iron is permanently missable. Next up, what was the deal with the Tentacool? So, in Heart Gold Soul Silver, if you talk to this NPC in Cianwood City's Pokemon Center with precisely one Pokemon in your party and no Pokemon in your PC, he'll give you a Tentacool for free. This is likely a softlock prevention of some kind, because the only way you can leave Cianwood is using Surf or using Fly, and Fly is locked off until after you beat Chuck. This was either completely unknown or not very widely reported on until 2020, 11 years after Heart Gold Soul Silver came out. Next up, do the punctuation forms of Unown help expand the cave? Or do you need to specifically see the letter forms of Unown? In both the DS games and the Switch remakes, if you have exclamation point or question mark unknown, they count as one of the 26 forms you need to fully expand the cave. It's kind of funny that this works because you normally can't get those forms until after you've seen 26 forms of Unown. In normal circumstances, you would have to trade them in. If you've seen every shiny Unown before seeing every non-shiny Unown, does that finish the cave? So, quick disclaimer here, all these shiny Unown here, they're all hacked. Now, they're just hacked for the purposes of testing game mechanics. It's not like I'm using them competitively or trying to claim they're legitimate or anything, so I feel it's fairly justified, because seriously, who expects me to shiny hunt 26 Unown? But the game still recognizes them as being legitimate, so for the purposes of this test, it was just infinitely easier to do it this way. Anyway, as for the answer of whether or not seeing every shiny Unown before seeing every non-shiny Unown completes the cave, this one might surprise you a bit. In the DS games, shiny Unown do count for expanding the Ruin Maniac Cave, and having a whole set of 26 shiny Unown does fully complete the cave, even if those are the only ones you have, and you have no non-shiny Unown. Just interrupting myself here real quick to just make it perfectly clear, there's nothing special or different about completing the cave with only shiny Unown. Like, for all intents and purposes here, there's no difference between a shiny Unown and a non-shiny Unown when it comes to expanding the Ruin Maniac Cave in the DS games. Also, all the footage of the DS games you're seeing are from Diamond and Pearl, but I did test everything in Platinum as well, and everything that applies in Diamond and Pearl also applies in Platinum. In Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, however, having a full set of shiny Unown does nothing. The Ruin Maniac Cave will still be in its first stage. This is what I expected when testing this, but this was the most commonly asked question. So if my assumption turned out to be wrong, I guess I wouldn't have been surprised as much. Speaking of shiny Unown, that kid in Solaceon Town who gives you seals and ball capsules, does he take shiny Unown? Or do you need to show him non-shiny Unown? The answer is, he'll accept shiny Unown. This kind of surprised me a little bit, because you'd think if the Ruin Maniac was picky, the kid would be picky too, but no, he's not. I assume this is the case because with the kid, you have to show him a specific Pokemon, but the Ruin Maniac, you don't need to show him a thing. So the code for the kid probably checks the species and the form, while the Ruin Maniac probably just checks the Pokedex. I can't say for sure because I don't know the coding of this game, but it sounds like it makes sense to me. And finally, perhaps the most important question of all. What the heck is your Gengar's name? So, in order for the name to make sense, we need a bit more context. When I was playing Brilliant Diamond, I wanted to catch a Ghastly from my team. The first one I caught, I named Rick Ghastly, after Rick Astley. Unfortunately, it had a bad nature, so I wanted to catch another one. The second one, I gave a slightly cruder name, just because I was a little upset with the RNG. Unfortunately, this one also had a bad nature, so I had to catch a third Ghastly. I decided to give this Ghastly an even cruder name than the second one, and it turned out it had a decent nature, so I stuck with it. And there we go. That should answer all the commonly asked questions. If you still have a question after watching this video, be sure to leave it in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you on that. My thanks to Mithril Monarch for assisting me in getting the footage for this video, as he played through Brilliant Diamond on my behalf. And thank you for watching today's video. If you want to help out the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed, and check out what's on the screen for some more Pokemon content. A big thanks to Lord McAfee, Mithril Monarch, and the rest of my patrons for going the extra mile and financially supporting the channel. See you next time, everyone.